I know that this might sound insane, but I genuinely found a way to find empowerment through being broke. And this is not to say that being broke is something that is comfortable for me and I want to stay like this my whole life, because that would literally defeat the purpose of this channel and me being on social media in general. But I want to say that there is ways to make you feel a bit more empowered to change and inspired to change in being broke. And that's what I want to share with you today. The reason why it's so hard to believe that you can do that is because prolonged financial strain will cause you to just feel like you are constantly trying to make ends meet. You never got enough and you just don't feel safe. You feel like you are lacking. It is a very valid thing to feel, because that's something that I also feel all the time. I've always been financially struggling and I don't really remember a day where I wouldn't worry about finances. I honestly truly hear you if this is something that you're going through as well. And even recently I faced a situation where again I am kind of on a brink of either losing my stability completely and having to move back to Poland, where I'm from, and it is definitely something that is making me really depressed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say that I am absolutely happy and positive, because I'm not. But this situation is ultimately the reason why I am making this video right now, and that I am changing the way I approach my content and I approach my money, because I want to have my own money and I want to feel financially free. I never want to feel the same way again. And this is the empowering bit, because as soon as things get absolutely ridiculous and they completely collapse, I don't want to feel this way anymore. I never ever want to face something like this anymore, because I love myself too much to put myself through something like this ever again. And I think those kicks, those brutal kicks from life where you just face situations that you think you might not be able to overcome, is ultimately the best and the most empowering thing, because on the other side of those challenges there is success and there is something that you've been working hard for. And honestly, having the realization of the fact that I create chaotic patterns in my finances because that's all I knew is also very empowering, because now I suddenly understand I am not crazy and I am not just an overspender. I just learned it through my childhood and the adults that I had in my life. And the most empowering part about this is that I know now that I can change it and I don't have to keep going like this. This is not something that is now decided and I'm gonna be broke forever. No, I know the reason why and I am able and fully equipped to change that. And I also realized one of the most empowering things in this journey is that saying no to spending on something is actually not a sign of defeat, but a sign of empowerment and agency. Because think about this, when you are an overspender, you are constantly giving in to consumerism and, for example, sales and brands trying to profit off of you because you are so easily manipulated into buying something. As soon as you are able to say no and step away and not make a purchase, this is so empowering and it's the biggest sign of growth. And that is actually you having complete power and agency over your finances and your decisions. You no longer give in to those short-term pleasures just because something is on sale, because you can actually critically think about, is it even benefiting me long way? And I used to feel really bad when I couldn't buy something because it just felt like, oh, I'm the only one that can't afford this, or it just reminded me of things that I couldn't have, and it reminded me of the fact that I don't have money. But now that I am 25 and soon to be 26, I really understand this is actually ultimately having agency and power and full control over your finances. And even though I am not financially free at all yet, I think that 2025 as a year was a big foundation for me, and the situation that happened recently definitely shook me enough to completely change. And I think 2026 will be that year where I finally earn minimum wage for the first time from my content creation journey and basically being freelance, and I will finally find a way to become financially free and stable for the first time in my life. I can literally feel it, and I don't know how to explain it. For some people it will sound like I'm just making it up, but genuinely I can feel it so strongly in my bones that I refuse to believe that 2026 will go any other way. And not to make it sound too easy, I also know that it requires me to work really hard, and that goes for both working on my career but also working on my mindset, my spending habits, investing, I have to work on everything all at once, and it will be, and it is already, a really difficult thing, especially that I've just been through financial strain for such a long time. I'm just scared that this will not happen. Doubts will creep in all the time, and they do even right now as I'm saying this. But this is the part of this journey that I have to unlearn these things, and I have to unlearn that I am unlucky. I have to unlearn that financial strain is something that I am just doomed for, and I have all the power and all the resources that I can in order to change my life for the better. Because honestly, we live in times where there's so many free tools that we can use. I mean, me recording right now, it doesn't cost me a penny to record this video, unless you want to count the Wi-Fi that I used. And that's why I can't keep making excuses anymore, and I just have to fully embrace my journey and really just lock in for 2026, because I refuse to live that way. I refuse to be broke all the time. I refuse to feel anxious whenever I approach a till at a grocery store. I refuse to be that broke friend that never goes out and never gets to see things with other friends because I just can't save money. And I think empowerment is ultimately in how you show up for this and how you show up in this journey. Because at the end of the day, if you know that you're working for your long-term vision, your long-term plan and your future self, your retirement, your early retirement, all your choices become ultimately so different and so empowering because they come from a completely different place. They don't come from a place of I need to have this because someone on TikTok has it. It comes from a place of my future self wants to retire, so I'm gonna work for it now. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's something admirable. So for all my financially struggling besties here, honestly, I've got you. And if you are interested to see my journey, because I will be learning about investing, I will be learning about personal finance, and I really want to make it accessible, and I want to share my journey, make sure to subscribe, make sure to follow me on my other socials, because I talk a lot about those things. And I finally decided to share a little bit more of a vulnerable side of my life, so I hope that I find the right audience. And if you found some sort of reassurance in this video as well, just make sure to let me know, because I just want to know if the content that I put out is actually received well. So I would really appreciate if you commented. And make sure to follow my podcast, Main Character Frequency, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But other than that, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you again found some reassurance in it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much, and bye for now.